We are one with the reality we experience. Everyone is the whole universe experiencing itself from a relative viewpoint. It's like a dream. When someone is having a dream or a nightmare, when you're in the dream, you don't know that you're creating the whole thing, the whole dream, or the whole nightmare. You know, someone is running after you and it's scary, but you're not just the little character in the dream, you're the whole thing. But when you wake up, it's obvious. Oh, I created the whole thing, the whole scene. I was not just the little character in the dream, I was the whole thing. And it's the same when we die. It's more real than real. The NDE people often say it was more real than real, like meaning you wake up and this reality is not as real as we think. It's just relatively real compared to us.
Guys, I'm super excited today because I am doing a rare interview with Anthony Chen. I found him probably in 2017 because I, as you know, have been fascinated with near-death experiences for a very long time. And his videos, and especially some of the documentaries he did, were some of the very first NDE interviews on YouTube that I could find. But I was connected to him not just because of the interviews he did, but because of the stylistic, gorgeous compositions of videos that he put together that he would release pretty infrequently back then. And I would have that bell turned on. And when I get notified, I'd stop whatever I was doing to sit down and watch his videos. He very rarely does these interviews. So I feel like this is a special treat to get to talk to him today. So Anthony, welcome all the way from France. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and really glad to be here. As you said, I'm quite stressed when I do an interview myself, and as you can hear, I'm French, so if I will do some mistakes in English, so sorry about that, but I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Well,
Thank you for
I
having
think
me.
your English is fantastic. So that's not even, it's a moot point as far as I'm
Okay.
concerned. Well, one of the things that I have always wanted to know about you is
Yeah.
how did you become interested in the NDE topic?
Okay. So the big question first. Yeah, it's a very to make. I did a business school, uh, uh, corporate finance. I did a year in finance, and then I left this world because it was quite boring for me. And I wanted to make videos, basically. So that's what I did. I tried to make the long story short, and I discovered these topics about NDEs and life after death and psychic communications, stuff like that. When I was like 27, 28, at first it was really something new for me because I don't have any family or friends or anyone who is psychic around me, and I've never had any NDE myself, because that will be maybe one of your questions. So no, I didn't have any NDE or not any mystical experience. Um, so how did I start it? Right? That was your question.
Yeah.
I'm already losing the question.
No, you're not. You're fine. This
So
is great.
yeah, it's a long story, so I'm trying to be really quick,
You don't
but
need to. We have plenty of time. I'm not in any hurry. I'm not going anywhere. You take your time and tell it however you'd like to share it.
yeah, and so the thing was that the when I discovered that, it was a NDE from an American woman, I remember. And you know, it's a usual story, like she could see her own body in the hospital bed. She was looking from above. She could hear what people were saying, like in other rooms. She could even hear and see her family talking, family members talking to each sorry, like a few miles away. So, you know, all the usual things about the NDE. And I told myself, like what is going on? You know, that was the why nobody told me about this. You know, I'm 28 and I never heard about that. It doesn't make any sense. And when I started to talk about about this to my some family members or friends, it was like they didn't care, or the one who cared said they were like liars or strange people. But for me, it really quickly made sense for me. You know, like, of course it's real. Of course we are more than this physical body, and of course the world we see with with our five senses is just a tiny part of the reality. You know, and it's like radio waves. We cannot see or touch or smell radio waves, but they are here. The same for conscious being outside our five senses, outside this 3D reality. There are other dimensions. Doing my best in English to explain all that, but I
Great.
think so. Yeah, that, and for me it made sense, like really quickly. And of course, when I started to make my first videos about it, at first it was in French and then in English. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of approval from friends or family. But I didn't care at that point because they already didn't approve that I went from doing a very serious and good business school in finance, and I ended up wanting to make videos on anywhere I can on YouTube or small gigs, you know, in France. So yeah, I didn't get any approval, but I still wanted to go on, and that's what I did. Um, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question
You did,
correctly,
you
but
did. You know, I feel like you're a trailblazer. There were a handful of people that I found early on doing this. You, Jeff Mara, there was a friend of mine named Sylvia who was doing this, Sylvia Isaacson, and not very many others. And so it wasn't like you could just go binge watch like you can now, 100 of them if you wanted to. You kind of
yeah.
would exhaust your videos that you could find. So how in the world were you finding guests back then when it wasn't popular the way it is now?
Yeah, it was really, it was quite hard. The first one I did was in 2014 in San Francisco. It's still on my YouTube channel, by the way. It's beyond our site. There are like 5 or 6 guests in it, and it's a NDE documentary. But I
That's
couldn't.
probably the one that I found you on.
Yeah. It was my very first project in English, and I was in San Francisco and I couldn't find any NDE account on YouTube. Like I ended up finding some on some channels like KATV or something like that, and I finally had the help of some NDE associations, Jeffrey Long and Jody
Oh
Long.
yeah, Jeffrey Long,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
she was the one helping me, sending me some NDE accounts around me, like in San Francisco or in the Bay Area. So I ended up finding some people, but it was so hard. At first, I found someone because I think I've put something on Craigslist back then or something. And I've met a guy in a Starbucks in San Francisco, and he told me he had a near-death experience. And he told me like for like 20 minutes the whole story, but it was not a near-death experience like what I thought it was. It was just like he wrecked his car and he almost died. That's it. And for him, it was near-death experience. So it was a complete misunderstanding, and it was quite lonely for me. But I ended up finding some people, yeah. But it was, as you said, uh, there were like close to nothing back then.
So what do you think of what's happened now? Because now,
Now,
I mean, I think when I started this, I mean, 3 years ago, there were only a handful more than what I'm talking about who were doing these, people I probably wasn't even aware of were having some of these conversations. Now there are a lot of channels doing this.
yeah, yes, so many channels, yeah. I don't really know what is going on with NDEs right now. It's like I feel like there is a new channel every day almost on YouTube. So yeah, lagging behind. Yeah, I don't understand anymore
Well,
what
I
is happening.
wonder if, we've talked about things, and I have this conversation with a lot of my guests about what we call the Great Awakening, where the collective is starting to wake up. They're starting to realize death might not be something that we need to be afraid of, that we go on, and they're starting to lose their fear of death. And as that happens, feel more and more people come out of the woodwork, because I know that there are so many people who have had near-death experiences. On average, I think they take like 20 years before they share their experiences. And so now it's becoming what I'm going to call, it's close to mainstream. Most people, if you said
Yes.
near-death experience or NDE, would know what you're talking about. Not like that guy at Starbucks who would tell you about when he almost died, but they'd really understand what you were getting at. So I think that
Yes.
the culture's changing.
Yes, has been there is an awakening, yes, to make things short.
So tell me what you think this awakening is. What do you think it is?
Uh, I think time is accelerating right now.
Ooh, a lot of people
Uh,
have said that.
and so things are things are unfolding way more quickly than before. And it's like technology. I think that the technology is a reflection of our own level of consciousness as a collective. So if you see the 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 technology is going really fast right now, and has been for a decade or maybe two, and it's big, and it's the same for a level of consciousness. You can now send a text message to anywhere, to anyone in the world, anywhere, instantly, whereas before it took like a few days, and it was quite long. And it's the same with the level of consciousness, sorry, we now have. It's way quicker than before, meaning the link between our own consciousness and the external manifestation is quicker than before. But it also means we all everyone has to choose now what they want to do, and if they want to go higher, let's say, to have a higher level of consciousness
You
in
think we
their,
get to choose, and then maybe that's just the trajectory that we're on because of the vibration that goes along with that choice?
like, yes, like we all have problems, in our own life, like uh, traumas and subconscious programs and everything, and we have to heal our own traumas right now. We have on ourselves. I mean, not take care of other people, but we have to do it on ourselves, and it's not an easy thing to 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 deal with the traumas we have. Sometimes it has to do with our parents, or the so many fears we have, but we now have to deal with them. Otherwise, as I said, it's things are unfolding very quickly. So if we stay with the fears we have and the traumas we have, we will manifest them uh, a lot quicker than before, and we will live in our own hell, basically.
That is an interesting thought. I've never heard anybody say that before, but if time's accelerating, then our ability to do things is accelerating also. So it'd be interesting that you could manifest things faster, because what do they say on the other side about thoughts?
Yes, yes, and I think it's because we are one with the reality we experience. Everyone is the whole universe experiencing itself from a relative viewpoint. Meaning oneness doesn't mean like it's a nice story, like we all hold hands and it's spiritual and everything. It's not that. Oneness, it's like there is not me or the reality experience. It's just me to some extent.
Yeah,
But we don't know who we are.
100%.
Yeah, it's like a dream, when someone is having a dream or a nightmare. when you're in the dream, you don't know that you're creating the whole thing, the whole dream, or the whole nightmare. You know, someone is running after you and it's scary and everything. But you're not just the little character in the dream, you're the whole thing. But when you wake up, it's obvious. Oh, I created the whole thing, the whole scene. I was not just the little character in the dream, I was the whole thing. And it's the same when we die. It's more real than real. The NDE people often say it was more real than real, like meaning you wake up and this is just, this reality is not as real as we think. It's just relatively real compared to us. But when we die, when people have a life review, they don't experience the life review from their viewpoint, but from everyone else around them also. Why? Because they were the whole scene. I know it doesn't make any sense from a mental perspective.
It doesn't for a lot of people waking up, but it does for a lot of people that are watching on this channel for sure.
Yeah, I know it's even myself. Sometimes I doubt myself, yeah. But it's the only logical explanation that I can find, and it's what every spiritual tradition used to say. You know, this reality is a dream or a Maya or a simulation, a matrix. It doesn't mean the experience we are living. We are living an experience that is important for the soul. You don't have to deny the experience. You can do whatever you want. Have a wife, a husband, earn money, travel. You can do whatever you want, but you have to go through the experience to slowly remember your true nature, you know. And the true nature is the divine spark within. It's not the body, not the emotions, not the thoughts. All that is going to disappear after we die. But the divine spark, the soul is staying, and that is one. And that is the one thing who is manifesting the scene.
This is beautiful. I am so glad we're having this conversation. This is so helpful. First of all, your analogy about the dream is the first time I've heard somebody state that way. And I think that for a lot of people, they could get their head around it because it's something that they've experienced. Of course, you aren't just the character in the dream, you created the whole thing. You wake up and you go, oh, and that's what this is.
Yeah, it's obvious. You don't need someone to explain to you that you created the whole dream. But imagine you have the ability to go into someone's nightmare when he or she is having the nightmare, and you explain the little self in the nightmare, like, hey, don't worry, someone is running after you, trying to kill you or anything, but you're just manifesting the whole nightmare. Don't worry. The little character won't believe you. He won't care. He will just be afraid of whatever is happening. So, but when the person is waking up, and I tell that because I have quite a lot of nightmares when at the first few hours when I sleep, you know. And it's pretty scary. But when you wake up, you know, it's just a dream. What I wanted to say something else, but I think I forgot what I wanted to say. But I think people get the idea. And so yeah, and talking about NDEs for me is not a way to escape this reality, even if it's not very real. But we don't have to escape this reality. We have to go through this reality, because the soul wanted to come here to experience this simulation, this whatever this is. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, where am I, you know, but we have to experience it, and we have to work on ourselves, because we have so many layers of traumas and programs and beliefs. And it's okay, we are free to do whatever we want, you know, but after we live in our own hell, our own fears, you know, it's like enough, you know. And I think we all have this inner knowing that there's something more and there is a meaning. there should be a meaning at least, you know.
I
Don't know what you
agree.
think.
I want to ask you this question then, because the longer I do the NDE interviews and have the experiences of being the consciousness on the other side at the same time, simultaneously, the more I try to figure out what the NDEs really are. So when we are everything, when we're consciousness, there's no aspect of that that has a human quality to it. There's no body, there's no eyes, there's nothing. It's this existence, and the existence is eternity and love and vibration and frequency and peace. And it's magnificent. It's all knowing. There's nothing outside of it. So, what do you think the NDEers who have these experiences and go to a realm, a place? They go through a tunnel, which is a thing. They go into a heavenly space and they have a conversation with a spirit guide, a passed away loved one. What do you think that is?
Okay, another big question. I think there are different levels, different dimensions.
What I think
And
too.
it's not because you're in a higher dimension, like when we die, you go to the astral level or a higher level. There is a reality like here. It doesn't work the same way at all, but you have a tunnel, you can have I don't know, you listen to NDE accounts, they house in some landscapes, they meet people, so there are other realities beyond this 3D world, but I don't think they necessarily experience everything that is existing beyond, because you can go much higher than that. It's like when you're having an out-of-body experience. I never had an OBE myself, but I imagine that when you have one, you can experience things very real and very differently. But it doesn't mean you're at the top of what you can experience. There is always something higher. But to answer your question, it's quite hard, because how can you describe with words, with my level of understanding and my mental understanding? My mental understanding is meant to describe this 3D world.
Right.
So how can I use words and my mental understanding to describe something so beyond myself right now, the little self right now? I just don't know. And I heard people saying, well, this NDE thing is just a trap. The white light is a trap, and it's everything is a trap.
Do
Okay.
you agree with that?
No, no, no,
Me
no.
neither.
Because they have a mental understanding of the white light. It's like you're in front of the white light and you're still thinking with your mental understanding.
Yes. You're
Like,
still
yeah,
individuated.
what is it? Yeah, let me think. You don't think this in this world, and even in this world, we are not clever enough to know everything. So
Right.
when you have this sense of love coming and of light, it's it's not from this world, and it's like enlightenment. When I was talking about oneness here, the Buddha and other Indian teachings, and even in Christianity, they talk about this feeling and this knowing of you're the whole thing. Enlightenment, you are the whole scene. Everything is you. You're one with everything. This thing, I've never experienced it myself, but this thing is not mental. I can understand myself. It makes perfect sense for me, this oneness idea. But to experience it and to know it and to master this is completely different than the mental
Right.
understanding.
Yeah.
So where I don't know where I'm going with all that, but I'm going with the flow. So
I love it. Well, these are collaborative conversations, and
yeah,
this is my favorite thing to do. Like, this is the highlight of my day today.
yeah, I'm just talking basically. Yeah. And
Well, because
after
it's
the
great
interview,
to have,
you
like, you know what, when we're walking around in their normal human existence, it's not like I'm at the store having a conversation like this with somebody. You
no,
cannot have these conversations with a lot of people.
no. Usually, I gave up talking about it to the people I know, and yeah, it's pretty lonely. You know, you have the concept of the old soul. You know, you're an old
Yeah,
soul.
yeah.
It sounds really nice, but in real life, some psychics, very good psychics, said it's pretty lonely to be in this state. You can have friends, you can have family members and everything, it's no problem, but where and when can you share this? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So, yeah.
Well, I think we're in a really fortunate position because we meet people who
Yes.
live this and we make connections with them. I know you've made a lot of connections with people I'm connected to, like we have some
Mhm.
crossover stuff. And that's when you get to have those conversations. And I hold those friendships dear because when something happens or a synchronicity happens, like that's who you want to call. You want to talk to somebody who's going to get it, not be skeptical of it, not, not want to
Yeah.
push it away or make it go away.
Yeah, it's an important thing for me too to talk to these people, even to ask questions during the interview. You know, it comes from the heart. You know, I really want to know more about what they experienced and how they think and how they feel about it. And that's what I'm trying to do. But even in my own life, I don't even understand sometimes, you know, the my own life basically, you know, what's happening, the synchronicities, the why, like your first question, you know, it's always this question, the first question, obviously, why are you doing this? I don't know. If I'm really honest, I don't I, I don't really know, but I just know, you
You're
know.
drawn
It's
to
like
it.
there are two layers, you know, the one part of me doesn't know, and honestly, sometimes I just want to let go, quit everything. Okay, I'm done. That's enough. But another part of me is just knowing. I know without knowing that I know. You know, it's
You know what
quite
that's
strange.
called? It's called clear cognizance. So we have these different clairs. You've heard of people clear audient where they have clear hearing, clairvoyant, clear vision.
Yeah,
Clear cognizance is just when you can't explain how you know it. You only can say, I just know. And it's just
yeah,
this intuitive feeling. And that's the clear that I have as well as clear cognizance, clear knowing.
yeah. That's exactly what I how I operate. I have strong ideas coming to my mind. Um, and also when I sleep, just before waking up, when I need to know something important, I just have the information just before I open my eyes. So yeah, that's
And are you given answers when you do that?
yes, yes. It's very
That's
practical. It's like do this, don't
so
do
so
that.
explain in a little bit more detail. Like one of the things I love about doing these interviews is people have all this wisdom, right? They have all these experiences that they've just accumulated. And if you can share some, I don't know, technique, something that's has worked for you, maybe somebody watching you and be like, I'm gonna try that, and maybe they'll get an answer to something. So I think it has to do
Oh,
with probably the delta state your brain is in
yeah,
at that time, right?
yes. That's what I was thinking about. Yes, it's usually it works best when you want to manifest something or have an answer to your question. It's you ask the question or you visualize something before going to bed, like just before when you're about to fall asleep, or in the morning, like when you wake up, the first few minutes, because you're in a state where you're in between, so it's easier to program your subconscious mind this way. A lot of people talked about it, like Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Joseph Murphy. a lot of books. So, but sometimes it doesn't make any sense.
You
Most
mean the
often,
answer you get doesn't make any sense?
well, yeah, for me, not that doesn't make any sense. Like it's okay. Like for to give an example, why I'm doing this in English, it's because I had constant signs and synchronicities and people coming out of nowhere and dreams, and a lot of that coming to me, and it didn't make any sense, really. Like I'm French, I'm living in France, and it's like do it in English. Go to the US, go to California, do it like that. I was living in Paris at the time. What? So of course not. But it keeps coming back. Do it, do it, do it. So an intuition is often something like that, for people. It doesn't make any sense at first, but you have to listen to it. And that's why that was also the case for me. Like I didn't want to go in finance because I had these constant messages, everything around me showing me like, don't do this, quit. You quit the corporate world, just like that. You have imagine having parents and a student loan and everything. Um, it's like that. You do it, and I think the other side is, at least for me, it's very demanding. It's not
I'm doing
very
mine with a full-time corporate job.
okay. Well,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah, it must be really intense. Yeah, because
It's very intense.
I don't really get the logic. That's why I was telling you about like the other side. We cannot get it with the mind because I honestly, even now, right now, I don't get most of what they are telling me. And I know for some people it may seem obvious, but it's
Everybody has to navigate. All right, I'm going to ask you this question. Was there one video, one interview, one NDE story that just blew your mind?
mm, yeah. There were a few,
Will
honestly,
you,
not.
will you share the ones? Because what I want to do is I want people to I want people to go and watch your videos because your videos are very different than the type of videos that I do. They're a production, a beautiful production with these gorgeous scenes and the music that matches. And you don't talk to people, you're asking them questions and they're just answering and you're putting it together. And I would love to send people, of course, people can go to your videos and look at, oh, these are the most popular. But like some of the ones that are on my channel that are the most popular, I wouldn't say is my all-time favorite story of the people that I've interviewed or the story that blew me away. They're not always the most popular.
Yeah. Um, what comes to my mind right now is the one with Jeff Olson, because I was talking about Oneness, but really there are a few of them that I really loved. So, and I tend to choose very carefully also the guests. So I tend to obviously I like them because I try to choose them. But uh, yeah, Jeff Olson, because at one point the near-death experience of Jeff Olson, if people want to find out. Uh, um, at one point, he was talking about this oneness idea because something he experienced during his NDE made him think of a verse in the Gospels. And I know some people don't want to talk about Jesus, but you can just forget about the Gospel or Jesus' name if you want, but just get the idea like uh, Jesus was he explained that Jesus was saying, you gave me food when I was hungry, you went to visit me in jail when I was in jail, you gave me proper clothes when I was poor. And the people around him said, no, we never did that to you. And he answered, what you did to the least of those, that to the poorest people, you did that to me. And that's when I fully got the idea of oneness, because it's exactly the oneness idea.
Wow.
He was explaining something that is the idea of oneness. It's not being nice to people, being one with people. It's you are the whole thing. That's the golden rule. And it's not just in Christianity for people who don't want to talk about that. I get it. That's why it's tricky to talk about religions, because some people get very angry, like, I don't want to talk about it. Just, it's fine. Just get the idea behind it, you know? And the golden rule is that, yeah, what don't do to other people what you wouldn't want, you know, you get the idea, other people.
Yeah.
I'm losing my
Super
English sometimes,
powerful.
so and it's always the same idea, always the same idea. It's like in the life review again. You'll relive your life, but from people around you. You feel exactly what they were feeling. How can you do that? It's because that to some extent you're just the whole scene. So that's, yeah, something that impacted me a lot. And I have to say, I'm not, if it's, no, it's not one of your questions, but anyway, I'm
Go
not
for it.
a Christian. I was born
Sundberg.
Catholic, huh?
Christian Sundberg?
Yeah, I was born Catholic, you know, in France, but I don't consider myself Catholic now. I'm okay with that, like with the religion. I don't have anything against it, but I think I just want to get the ideas behind the religion, you know, not proclaim myself as something. I just, and it's to make videos. It's way better to just to focus on the ideas and what people experience, rather than try to push an agenda, you know. I get, and I'm talking about my own YouTube channel now, you know. It's way more efficient for me to do it this way, and that's what they did for the book A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you know this book.
I have it. I have actually never read it, but I've had it in my library for probably 20 years.
Oh yeah, it's like the authors say. I think they said it was a channeling from Christ, but
Yeah,
they don't really say it. Like you can read the whole book. It's so long. It's so long,
it's so
and they
long.
never talk about Christ. I think you don't have to. You just have to get the idea. So why am I talking about this? I really don't know. But yeah, I'm talking about this because in the comments I see a lot of fights between people who want to talk about like in the US it's mostly Jesus. They want to talk about Jesus, and some other people they really don't want to. So that's why I'm telling this how the way I operate making my videos. But yeah, it was not one of your questions, so I'm
No, it's
just answering
okay.
it.
That's
There
this
was
is great.
a bonus question, let's say.
Bonus question. How about that? You know, it's funny. The comments are an interesting thing. When I first started doing this, I never imagined that I would spend hours a week answering comments. I try to answer everybody's. I can't
Oh,
always do it, especially when videos are starting to, hit 200,000 and have thousands of comments on
mm,
them. But what I think I have a frustration around a little bit is when people come in, I know that they didn't watch the video at all, and they say, this is of the demon, this is a false
yeah.
teaching, this is an angel in disguise as the
Yeah, the
devil,
usual
and
stuff,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. That just like I feel it actually makes me feel a little bit sorry for them that they're stuck in that kind of a state of fear and powerlessness because they've given their power away, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. Yes, there are it's always the same kind of comments as you say. There are the one like yeah, it's you've been deceived by the angel of
Yes.
light. Well, okay.
Yep.
Also the one where the NDE and the tunnel and the light is a trap. the soul trap.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of the trap comments on here. I've
Yeah,
seen
so
videos with
people love
that, but
traps.
yeah, we haven't really
It's, I
talked
don't
about
know.
that.
Yeah, it's
Hey, having been on the other side as all of consciousness, we are beyond power. Like, if people could experience 1 millionth of the power that we are as the collective, they would never give their fear away again.
yeah, but I understand people saying that it comes from suffering and fear, because when you suffer too much in this life, like you lose people, you have a disease, or I don't know, you can have so much suffering in this life. If people are telling you, well, I went to the light and everything, these people say, well, it's a trap, because you go to the light and then you reincarnate in this hell. So it's a trap, because I'm suffering so much in this life that I don't want even think about coming back. And that's, I have quite a lot of comments right now of people really struggling in life saying, whatever this reality is, I don't care, I want out. They just don't want to live anymore. Some people are even suicidal. And it's a dangerous thing, because I don't want people to watch these videos and think that it's an escape to have a mystical experience.
Right.
It's not an escape, because you stay with the same level of consciousness. That's why sometimes you have dead people walking around for some time, because they have alcohol problems or anything, and they are still in a state of being angry or sad, or they are lost, you know. So it doesn't work that way. The work you have to do on yourself as a soul, you will have to do it, and it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to listen more. But we just don't want to listen, because we want to know it all. Even myself, I'm not we just want to I just want to think I'm in control, and I plan everything right. But it's not the way it works. So I
Maybe the
think
trap comments are to help keep the people who might try to escape from escaping, because it's another barrier that they are like, oh, I don't want to do that.
they hate traps, basically. They want to avoid traps. It's the main.
Who didn't? I think when I was a kid, I really thought I was going to be dealing with quicksand a lot more in my life than I have, but just didn't happen. Yeah, the traps are an interesting thing. So after doing all this work and putting all this time into these beautiful videos that you create, is there like a bigger place that you want to take this? And I don't mean that like your videos aren't big enough. I mean it like I could really see you doing something that was more of like a feature film. Do you have an ambition to do something that would reach a, I don't know, a bigger audience, or be a bigger
Yes,
production than, these short form 45 minute to an hour videos?
yes, yes. I already did a documentary that is not on my YouTube channel yet. For
Mm.
now, it's just on Gaia. It's called
Oh.
Renaissance,
Oh, I
Rebirth in
don't think I
English.
even knew that you had something on Gaia TV.
Oh, I'll send you the link if you want. And
Yeah.
for now, it's yeah, I've put it on Gaia for a short period of time, because it was so hard for me to produce it myself. It takes so much time and money that and but then I want to put it on YouTube, like as soon as I'm allowed to, like at the end of the year, I think I will put it on my YouTube channel, because I want it this way for this one. And then I would like to do bigger projects, of course, even bigger, and that's my goal, to make some really powerful movies, documentaries, anything.
Mm.
But the thing is that it's what I told you before. It's that of course I'm asking. I'm not psychic, but I'm asking. Like angels or the higher self, because some people, they also in comments, they don't want to hear about angels or guides. They say no, it's just the higher self. Okay, so I'm asking whatever. I don't hear anything. So, and I'm saying if you want me to do more in English, because it's always do it more, look, give me more ways to do it, any way you want. But the answer I get is not the one I am expecting. I'm like everyone else. I would like someone to throw me a ton of money and working visas to go anywhere in the world. You know, I'm like anyone else, like make things easier for me. No, it doesn't work like that. What the answer I get is you have to know something about yourself that you don't know fully. You have to be more aware of what you can do, and you have to believe in yourself. And then it's basically some signs about the US or southern France. So I think my future as a filmmaker will be in these two areas, but that's how they operate.
Hmm.
They are
It'll
not
be interesting to watch and see what happens.
they are not giving anything for free like that. You know, it's not that simple. You have to have so yeah, but that's the way I'm going to take. Yes, do something bigger.
That's
That's what
great.
I want to do. That's really what I want to do. I want the film I make to be very powerful for people. You know, you have people. I want people to feel the soul in it. You know, to in every image, in every music. You know, to have something that speaks to them. You know. So yeah, that's really that's my main goal basically.
I love
That's what
it.
you.
And I'm sure that you will achieve it. And just so the people that are listening, if you're not familiar, when Anthony was talking about Gaia TV, Gaia is a paid subscription through
Yeah,
Amazon Prime. So if you go to Amazon Prime and you're interested in Gaia TV, I think it's, I don't know, it used to be $9.99 a month. I think it might be 14 or whatever it is,
yeah,
but
I don't
you pay a
remember.
monthly, you can stop it at any time and it gives you access to all kinds of content. Dr. Joe Dispenza's on there, George Norrie's on there, Robert Edward Grant is on there with his codex, and there's tons of people talking about ancient civilizations, aliens, all kinds of spiritual content, which is really great too. So
Yeah,
you can
yes,
find his stuff there.
they have a lot of good content, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I also did two documentaries just for them.
Oh, you
The
did?
Yeah, Healing Vibrations and the Quest for Ascension.
Okay. Well, I'll
If you
put
look online,
links. Yeah, if you can give
yeah,
me the links, I'll put them in
yeah,
the
I'll
show
give you the
notes for
link.
people. Well,
So yeah, for what was I saying?
I was going to say that I think that there are people who are watching who want to connect with you. So let's tell them where they can find your YouTube channel.
Yes, it's you can type my name, Anthony Chen. I don't know how you pronounce it in English, Anthony Chen Production, or anthonychen.com, my website. That's about it. I have everything on it.
Perfect.
So yeah.
So is there any last final thought that you want everyone to know, either about you, what you're doing, or anything in general?
Yeah, I'm really thankful to all the people who are writing very nice comments about the videos, supporting me any way they can. And there are a few people that have supported me to do what I do. It's not an easy job, but I'm really glad to do what I do, and I know it's a hard period of time for a lot of people right now, and it's going to be more intense, I think, in the coming years. But it won't last. It won't last forever. But I think it's gonna be one hell of a storm, as Doc Brown says in Back to the Future too. I've just watched again this movie. He says this line, and I think it's going to be a little bumpy in the coming years. But just don't lose hope and focus on mastering your own thoughts, your own emotions, and it's going to go well.
I think that that's wonderful advice. Anthony, I am so grateful that I got a chance to connect with you in person. I love what you do. I want to thank you not only for helping to wake up the collective, which is what I mostly thank people for, but thank you for your part in my journey. I mean, it was probably there's a part of me watching your videos that made me want to interview people and ask them questions and bring this to more people. So thank you for whatever part you played in me being here today too.
Yeah, and thank you for this opportunity. It's not an easy thing for me to be on camera because I usually hate being on camera. But you did a good job being here, listening. You know, it's hard to listen to people. You know, it's not really easy, and you're doing it well because most people they just don't listen. Even when they ask questions, they just want to talk and interrupt. And so, yeah, thank you for letting me talk a little.
Thank you. That makes my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this show, of course, would be absolutely nothing without all the people who tune in. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Next up, check out this playlist of other NDE interviews. Please like and subscribe. It really helps this channel to grow so I can bring you more content. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're here.